If you've been wondering how to design a website on Figma and how to take that design and turn it into a functional website on Squarespace, then keep on watching. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Megan. If you have not been here before, thank you so much for being here. I'm super excited to just jump right into this video and show you guys a Figma website design. So I've been getting quite a few questions on Figma versus Adobe XD, which one I like better, and also the common question I always get, which is why should I design on Figma before just designing it on the actual website platform, which in today's video will be Squarespace. Well, I will answer that question right now. So I always design on Figma and I like to create these prototypes and these mock-ups before I go and build it and make it functional for a couple reasons. Number one, I want to save myself time down the line because in my experience, when a client wants an edit on an actually built functional website page, it can take 10 times as long to rebuild everything and still not know if they're going to love it. Whereas with the mock-up side of the process, I'm able to send that to them, get really awesome feedback from my clients, kind of have a collaborative experience for them, and also see it from a wide view perspective and know how the page flows itself. And then I also tell my clients I have to get approval from them to move on to the development phase. So that right there prevents me from hearing from my clients and at the end of the process when we're about ready to launch, hearing from them and having them tell me that they want to go backwards and change something. So getting that approval after the mock-up is sent is kind of like that stamp of approval of we're moving on to the next phase of the project. And if you ever need to go backwards, it will be a new project or a new fee. So just make sure you cover yourself there because I've had that happen and it can be really frustrating because we have multiple clients as business owners and it's hard to go backwards when you have new clients starting in a month or in a few weeks. So definitely saves yourself that way. But I also just feel like I said, it gives you that wide angle view to see how the web page flows to get a good idea of how it's going to look all together. Okay, so now that we have that question out of the way, I want to jump into showing you how I design on Figma. I have to be honest with you guys, I am still in the process of learning all the features on Figma, but I wanted to show you how I've been using it for my clients. So let's hop on over to my screen. So as I mentioned earlier, we are going to be designing this website on Squarespace. The only reason I am designing it on that platform is because my client specifically requested it. He was asking my genuine opinion on which platform he should be on. And to be honest, he already had all of his domains on Squarespace. He was sending me a bunch of example websites that he likes to look at, and all of them were built on Squarespace. And also, I'm always open to learning a new platform and experimenting with it because the one thing I've noticed with website platforms is they're always changing and improving, and it's been a really long time since I have used Squarespace, so I was totally open to trying out the platform for him. So that is what we're going to be building this website on, but this is the homepage that I've already started. So I was looking at a lot of the Squarespace templates just to get an idea of what is possible, what isn't possible. And I have to say, just from building this homepage already, I am so impressed with the amount of things Squarespace has improved over the years. I feel like it's way more customizable now and having a really great time building the website on there. But this is what the homepage looks like. As you can see, I have a lot of comments from my client of things that we have already fixed. So if I wanted to remove these comments, all I would have to do is hit this resolve button and it'll completely get rid of that comment because I've already made that change. I don't want to get confused with myself because if I send him this link again, I'll be confused on which comments are new and which ones aren't. Although you can see when someone comments that specific one. So if you're wondering how I sent over this homepage to my client, all I did was at the top right here, there's this little play button. I went to present and it presents it in this prototype, which is so nice because I feel like a lot of times it's tricky with mockups because they don't know the scale of the website and how big the text is or how big the images are. This just really allows them to see exactly the sizing of everything. So this is what the website looks like in the prototype. As you can see, nothing's clickable. This is all prototype, all mock-up. I like to let my clients know that. And then to get their comments on it, all I do is give them directions on going up to the top left here, hitting this little comment button, and then they'll be able to drag that anywhere on the page to leave any sort of note that they may have. So as you can see, I have all these comments here from him, and you can see 1 day ago he left them. So these are still the old comments, so I would likely go through and resolve all of them since I've made all the changes. So we have that going now. So what I wanted to do with you all is start building the about page. This is one of my previous clients. I'm going to X out of that. So to build the about page, what I'm going to do is actually similar to Adobe XD. I'm going to click on that little home button right here, and I'm going to do Command C on my keyboard to copy it, and then I'm going to do Command V to bring it right next to it and paste it into this project. Now I'm going to title this page About. And the reason I wanted to copy it over is because I wanted to make sure that I have the sizing, everything consistent. I wanted the header and the footer there and all of that to be the same on every page. So I have that copied over. Now we don't have a lot of content for this client yet, but we'll just start building it out in terms of what I think they're going to need on the page. So I'm just deleting some of these items here because I won't need most of those, and I don't think I want the merch on this page or this. So really just want the contact form, and this page will most likely be significantly shorter in length. So I'm going to bring the footer up. I'm just like dragging my mouse across everything. I'm going to bring it up the page like that, and then to shrink the page size, you just click on the title of the page and drag it up that way. Perfect. So I don't know the size of the page yet, but this is one of the reasons I love designing in a mock-up form, because I'm able to zoom out and see how big each page is in comparison to each other. It's just kind of a nice little thing to know. Okay, I wanted to show you guys what I already started for the website. I am doing this on Squarespace, a bit different than what I typically do, but I wanted to show you guys what the homepage looks like already. So I already built this out based on the notes that we have on the Figma and everything, and some of this is actual layouts that Squarespace helped me create, but a lot of this is custom as well in terms of like what I think would look good for this specific client. But this is what it's looking like. Super excited with how it's coming together. We have all these different packages here and some buttons that I need to add text on, the footer that I created. These will be social icons. So we still have a lot of little things to do, but I have the homepage built, which I'm really excited about. So I just loaded in a page layout on the About Us page, which is the page I'll be building with you all. But I don't really love how this looks. This is just an idea to get my brain going in terms of like how to lay out the About page. But this definitely isn't what I'm going to be keeping. But I just wanted to get an idea. Then I was also looking at other businesses within this same franchise to see what they do. So I have a bunch of different inspiration ones open here, but I'm not really in love with a lot of them. I feel like we can do something even better. But I was looking at, let's open up another location for inspiration. But if you're wondering how I get inspiration on my websites, I do look at competitors and I see how we can set them apart a little bit more. And to be honest, this specific niche right here, this specific franchise, they don't have the best looking websites, so we can definitely stand out pretty easily. But I do want to make it look really unique and nice to them as well. So let's look up another location. Maybe we can do, let's try the Oakland, California, 10th Planet. See what that looks like. Okay, this one looks nicer than the others. We have a page about classes, and we have a page about the schedule, and gallery. So they don't even have an about page. Kind of noticed that a lot with this franchise. There's not really a huge need for an about page, but we will create one because the client mentioned wanting one, and also I feel like we can have a little section that talks about him and his story, which I think can be an important thing to add. I'm also going to change this to black. It's driving me crazy over there. Okay, so let's start by creating a section that will be mostly a piece of text to kind of welcome them to the About page. So let's add this section here. I'm going to add, so I know I'm not really going too deep into Figma, that's going to be a whole other thing, but if you're wondering how I got all these colors in here, I was able to do so by setting up color styles and just adding them in by clicking this plus sign and naming them, so it's super easy for me to know like which color I'm clicking on, so that really saves me time when I'm designing. So we're doing that. Let's do, he really likes like white backdrops. He likes like really simple white with like black text, so I'm probably going to be keeping it similar to that. And let's drag this over. I'm just clicking on this text from the homepage, dragging it over so the consistency is all there. And we can add a piece of text to say about us. Well, I'll leave this all as placeholder since I didn't get copy from this client. We're just going to leave it like that. And then let's add a section that goes into him and his story. So when I'm thinking about web designs, I like to think about how I can make it look consistent on all the pages. So I'm going to bring over this section here. I think we can make it look cool on the About page. And let's drag it to be in the center here. Like that is awesome. And I might even swap the sides that it's on to kind of differentiate it from the home page to the About page. And, you know, we don't even need to have 3 photos, to be honest, but I do like the look of that. And he sent me quite a few photos of himself doing jiu-jitsu, so I think that's going to be really cool to add that in. And then one of the stylistic choices we chose for this client in terms of the branding was to keep all the photos black and white. That was like a specific choice that I thought would be cool for them. So that's what we will be focusing on. Okay, so let's add that. We can add the owner. So there's information about him. I'll go grab those pictures later, but I just want to get a generic layout in here just to show you how to convert this to a functional website. So we have a little bit of text up top here, the owner, and then I want a piece of text that goes into his bio here. It can be really short, but something like that. And let's shrink this a little. Okay. And then I think after we have this section here, we can have maybe some information on the classes again, but in a different format than this. So let's drag over these buttons and let's add I really liked how that website actually had those classes listed out right here. How they have them in squares like this. That's kind of really cool. So maybe I can do something like that where it goes into the levels of classes, because I think most of these 10th Planet ones have a similar layout of classes. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like they do. They have all levels, advanced, beginner. So let's add a section about that. I want it to mimic this kind of area here. And let's add another box. So I'm just talking out loud so you can kind of hear my thought process when it comes to designing websites and how I kind of think through it. Let's center that. Okay, perfect. Now I'm going to add this text over here. See, this is super helpful when I send this to my client through Figma. They're going to be able to let me know if they even like this kind of section before I go and build it. So that's just one reason it can be really helpful to do this step before actually building it out. And then let's bring a title over here and we'll do class types. Let's do class levels. And then we can add a little subheading text underneath it that says, which is right for you. And then my subheading text is always bold, so I want to make sure I click that, and I want to make all this text capital. Okay, there we go. We have a little section about advanced to beginner kids, and then let's bring that there. Let's bring Get in Touch up a little higher. I'm gonna group that together so I can center it, and then we'll bring, actually I like a lot of white space, so I think that's good. I want to just write a note within here that explains how this section is all about the story of how they started. Okay, so to customize this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click into Edit, and we are going to basically remove this entire, before I remove it, I'm going to click Add Section. And since we have a really simple text area, we can go to either Add Blank Section. I'll show you guys how to do a blank section, and then I'll show you some other options. But with a blank section, all I would do is add a block of text. And this is one of the reasons I feel like Squarespace has really upped their game. I don't remember being able to drag it and see all these alignment tools. So I think that's really cool that they have that now. I'm going to type in About Us, and we're going to select H2. And let's get this text centered. And then you can also drag the text box to shrink it a bit, and we can center it that way. So I think that's really awesome that they have that. And you can also center it within the text box too, which is nice. So now I'm going to add another text box. You can either duplicate this one, or you can go back to Add Block, add another text box, and put it below. So I'm going to go to my Figma and copy this text box over, and this is probably why I get questions, because it seems like double work. But trust me, typically before I build this, I'm sending this to my client and getting feedback, but I just want to show you for the purpose of this video how to build it. But it will save you time from having to do all these little alignments and all these perfect little adjustments and animations and stuff to make it a really nice website. So we're gonna leave it like that. And then you can probably just align it. Yeah, no, that wouldn't work. I like to count the rows that are in between. So we need to add another row. So I'm going to click Edit Section. We're going to add another row here. And then let's see if I can get that perfectly centered into this section. And then to change the background color, you can go to Colors, click Light, and there we go. It changes it. So now I want to remove this section here. And I also don't want this section. What I do want is that section from my home page. So I'm going to click on, I'm going to save this and exit. And then let's go to the home page. And let's specifically save this section here. So I'm going to go to Edit. And we're going to click on this section. And I believe if I click this little heart, yeah, it's going to save it for me. And perfect. So easy. I'm super impressed with Squarespace, to be honest, because this is like really user friendly. I think it'll be great for the clients who manage on their own, but I do feel like they've changed a lot. There's a lot of customization, which can also be a little bit scary for clients if it's too much customization options. Okay, so I'm going to go to Edit, and we are going to add a new section using that saved one. Click that. Perfect, it loads it up. And I actually am going to rearrange all this. So I'm going to select all of these. We're going to drag them over to like this area here, and then I'm going to drag this over, so we're just like swapping the locations of everything. Drag this over like right here, and that there. Okay, perfect. Let's move this line. And now let's type in that new text. And I'll have to replace these images later once I go edit them into the black and white. But we can add in all the other areas here. So we have that. Now let's do this section here, the class levels. So I'm gonna, like I said, I'll just add in text here. We can make this call to action I think contact us is good, or explore schedule, or view. We can do view schedule. But let's scroll down, and if you wanted to like add spacing below each section here, you could do so by either adding some more rows, or as you can see, there's like some spacing up top here but not below, so I could add a few more rows to get the same spacing on top and bottom. And then also I have it as fill screen because I want it to take up the whole screen when they're on this section. So we have that set up. Now let's add a section. I'm going to do another blank one just to show you how to make this completely custom, but you could click into any of these options here and just load it in, which is really nice for contact forms because sometimes those take time to build. We have about, we have people, products, services. So I technically could use one of these. Let's see if they have one. Portfolio, services. I think we could actually use, I wonder if this is the border. This is kind of cool with the different shapes. You know what? I'm going to do it custom. Sometimes it just is a little bit easier that way. Let's change the background color to the light one. And then we're going to add a block. Let's add a... do they have a shape? Yeah. We'll add a shape here. And we can actually increase the size of this section. Perfect. And then let's actually change the shape color. So I need to edit the site-wide palette. I don't know why I haven't done that yet. So let me go over here and we can click into these colors and load them over onto Squarespace. Alright, awesome. I wanted to change these anyway to red, so that's perfect. So let's click back into this section here. You could just double click it. Let's click this square and we will change the color now that we have it all loaded up here. And let me undo that. I want to duplicate this square. Now the only thing I'll say with the Squarespace editing is that you want to make sure that you also do the mobile side. It's kind of nice that I have it completely separate because you can do a full different design on the mobile, but I would say that it actually does convert it pretty well from desktop to mobile, but it's definitely something to check and make sure that it looks good on both. Let's do heading 3. We'll do some white text here, and then let's center it. Okay. And then let's duplicate this over, bring it over onto this square. We'll call this advanced. And then let's duplicate it again. Kids. Okay. So we have that in. We can add another block of text that will explain what each level is. So I'm just going to make this text white, explain the level here. And then let's duplicate it. I keep on doing Command C, or like trying to drag it over, but it doesn't work like that fully. So let's duplicate it. Perfect. Okay, so we have that. We can also add in a button, and we'll keep that same style that we have been using. It's kind of cool because the more I drag down, the more it will build those rows for me. And we can do view schedule here again. Or yeah, we could do enroll, whatever you want to do there. And then I know I had that contact form at the bottom, so let's go back to my homepage, save that contact form, and we'll bring it back over here. So let's exit. And this one here. So it changed all those buttons to red, which actually looks pretty cool. Okay, so let's click into here and we'll save this section now. And then we'll exit, go back to About Us, and we'll add that back in. Perfect. All right, so that is how I take a super simple page on Figma, develop it onto Squarespace. I know it seems like double work, but I promise you guys it saves time. As you can see, my client left so many notes. It would have been really hard to get all this feedback on an actual website. And I just feel like it saves so much time. I'd way rather edit something here and like just quickly change everything here than have to go rebuild the entire page. So that's just how I prefer to do it. Not saying it's the only way, but this just really helps me figure everything out. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed watching this tutorial on how I design Figma websites, why I design on Figma before developing it onto any sort of platform such as Squarespace like I used in this video. I also just wanted to show you, like, I haven't used Squarespace in a very long time, and it was really cool to kind of experiment and see how customizable the pages are. And I think it's actually like a really, really nice platform and pretty fairly priced in my opinion. I was pretty surprised by that because I feel like platforms like that have a lot of those customizations and everything can be a little bit pricier. And it definitely is a little pricier, especially compared to like a WordPress website, but I think it's a really great tool and I think my client will enjoy managing it and maintaining it on his own after I hand it off to him. But I really hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you have any questions at all on my process and anything about Figma or anything about web design, let me know by commenting down below. But if you enjoyed this video, I would appreciate it so much if you gave it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys in my next video.